you ready to get on the hot seat with Wally George? Hang on for the wildest, most controversial talk show on television, featuring enthusiastic participation from our live studio audience and interviews with provocative newsmaker guests. And now, here he is, that hard-hitting, award-winning, conservative voice of television, Wally George!
Oh, yeah. We don't let anything faze us around here, do we? Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome all across America. This is the program that helps keep America even greater. And let me tell you, we got a fantastic studio audience, 49,000 people out there. Okay. And they're all great Americans. Here on Saturday night, the Hot Seat Show, our 6th year. Do you realize, folks, in July, we will be starting our lucky 7th year on television. While a copier of mine has been flushed down the toilet. Okay. Now, let me tell you, on the show tonight, we have some ludicrous people. We have Will Tracey and Sabrina, who is the high priestess. And Will Tracey, the director and founder of the Church of the Most High Goddess. Okay. Now, you may have read about this so-called church in the newspapers. I say it is a disgrace to religion in general, isn't it? Now, they actually have sexual rituals in this so-called church. And the Los Angeles City prosecutors are trying to prosecute them as operating a house of prostitution. I hope they both go to the slammer. Okay. Then we have a libertarian freako named Craig McIlvaney. He's speaking up for the... Hold it. He's speaking up for the Libertarian Party, a bunch of nitwits. They want to stop all foreign aid, cut back all the military. They want to make it okay for children of any age to drink alcohol. Oh. Bunch of sickos. Okay. So that's the show for tonight. And then, of course, we have some questions from the studio audience, the mailbag and the whole thing on this Hot Seat Show for Saturday night. This is program number 301. 301 weeks continuously on the air. Now, before we get to my all-important commentary of the night, it is time to meet our great crew. In the booth directing us, the multi-talented Gia DeSantis Clark, everybody. Hey, there we go. Right over here on the floor is my very beautiful wife, mommy-to-be, my producer, Janice George, right there. There she is. Our floor director, the amazing Joe Abesso, right there. Let's hear for Joe. Unfortunately, Bill Bancroft is taking the night off tonight. Oh. But he'll be back next week. And now, everybody hold it down in the audience, please. Everybody at home, turn the volume up, crank it up, because Wally is about to speak. Hold on, everybody. Everybody pay attention. This is my commentary of the night, and it's a very important commentary. Hold it down, please, guys. Okay. I want to congratulate President George Bush on his performance at NATO in Brussels. Even the news media was forced to admit that the president scored a grand slam home run with the NATO leaders. This gives President Bush a tremendous shot in the arm and points out the fact that he is indeed a firm, competent leader. President Bush challenged Soviet leader Gorbachev to agree to deep American and Soviet troop withdrawals from Europe. The Union seems to be favorable to the president's plan, and there's lots of talk going around about a better relationship between the Soviet Union and the United States. Well, I say that's all well and good, but let us remember this. We must never, ever let our guard down, right? Okay. Now, you know, the liberal calls for friendship and trust are very premature, in my opinion. Gorbachev may have a new look and a new approach, but I believe he has the same goals of all the other Soviet leaders before him. The goals, of course, world conquest, including the United States of America. Let us not be lulled into a sense of false security by this grinning, backslapping wolf in sheep's clothing. Gorbachev may indeed agree to troop and arms reductions, but that doesn't mean he can be trusted. Nikita Khrushchev made a telling statement some years ago in the Soviet Union. Khrushchev said, "The Soviet Union will take over the United States without firing a shot," quote unquote. He was talking about infiltration of the United States, of taking over this country from within by infiltration of our schools, our churches, the news media, and our government. The infiltration continues in America, as a grinning Gorbachev may have some Americans beginning to wonder, is communism really all that bad? If we start thinking that way, I say it is the beginning of the end for the United States of America. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Wally George here with the Hot Seat Show for a Saturday night. We're here every Saturday night, 11 to 12 midnight. Tell your friends. And hey, don't forget, if you're watching us here in the Southern California area, we're on the air also Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock with the Hot Seat Hotline. I do a commentary every day and take your phone calls from 4 to 4:30 right here in Southern California here on KDOC Channel 56. Join me every day at 4 o'clock, and you can call me on the phones as well. Okay, now, are you ready? It's time for the mailbag. Now here is a real weirdo. His name is Stanley. Stanley says, "Dear Wally, I am working on the Gay Pride Parade. I'm working on the Gay Pride Parade in Santa Ana. Will you help us?" Oh. He says, "We want you to be our Grand Marshal." Oh. I have news for you, you sick pervert. If I have my way, there won't be any gay pride parade in Santa Ana. Sickos. Now here's another one. Here's another real idiot named Timmy. Oh. Now this guy is really hold on. He says, Wally, I am one of those skinheads you keep criticizing. He says, I want you to know that we are the future of America. Oh. He says, we are striving for an all-white America. Oh. He says, I command you to shave off your hair and join us. Shave off my hair? That would be treason, wouldn't it? The un-American. He says, oh, and listen to this. He says, deep down in your heart, you know that we are right. Oh, yeah. Hey, deep down in my heart, I know you are a racist pig, and you're out of here. And also, deep down in my heart, I know all of you fascist, racist, Nazi skinheads should be kicked out of this country. Okay, let's go to the audience now and get some questions. Yes, come on up. Okay, what's your question? Can I have your name and your question? Go ahead.
I'm Lance Mountain from Oceanside.
Yes, Lance.
And I'd like to know, are you going to accept the challenge to wrestle Rick Dees?
Rick Dees, that little rodent, Rick Dees. He is such a wimp. Not only will I accept the invitation to wrestle that little spineless idiot, but I will also volunteer to go 15 rounds with him. Okay, that's... Yeah, Wyson, how about it? I pick up my from the audience now. Very good. This guy is my writer. Okay, yes, go ahead.
Hey, my name's Fred. I want to know what you want to do about the POWs and still in Vietnam.
I'll tell you, we have to go over there, and we've got to bring back. There are POWs over there. I'm convinced. And there's one other thing that I want to do concerning the POWs. I want to get rid of Assemblyman Tom Hayden back in Sacramento, also known as Mr. Jane Fonda.
Sicko!
Do you know when Tom Hayden was over there during the Vietnam War, he went over there and helped the enemy, the communists over there. He told our guys to lay down their arms and surrender, and when he came back, he said our POWs were liars and hypocrites when they said they were tortured by the communists. And I say, because of that alone, Tom Hayden should not be serving in our state assembly. I want to see him out of there. Yes, go ahead.
Eric Dressen, I was wondering what you think about Rob Lowe and his having sex with an underage
Well,
person.
I think Rob Lowe, if the charges are true, I think Rob Lowe is a real sick individual. I want to see his Brat Pack buns thrown in the slammer for a few months. I'll be right back. There we are. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody, to Hot Seat on this Saturday night. in a moment, we'll introduce our first guests on the hot seat, our first victims on the hot seat. Don't forget, every Monday night in Southern California, join me on the radio on KLAC for the Wally George Great American Radio Show, our third year on that fine all-American station. Monday night from 7 until 10. You can call me on the phone for 3 hours on KLAC, Monday night 7 to 10, 570 on the AM dial. Now it's time for our first guest. And Victor, you've probably been reading about these individuals and their organization, their so-called church. They've been in all the newspapers and so forth. We have Will Tracey, who is the director and founder of the Church of the Most High Goddess, and with him, the high priestess, Sabrina. Here they are. Hold on, everybody. Will, you are the leader and founder, I understand, of this Church of the Most High Goddess, correct?
Yes, I'm the high priest of the church.
Now,
Is this audience from West Hollywood?
What'd you say?
I say, is this audience from West Hollywood or maybe from San Francisco? I mean, Wally, any group that prefers you to a woman, what can I say?
Now hold on. It depends upon the woman, doesn't it? Now you call your establishment. Hold it, guys. You call your establishment a church, the Church of the Most High Goddess, but however, the city prosecutors here in Los Angeles are calling your church a house of prostitution. What do you think about that? Now I understand. Well, hold on. Now I understand that in your Church of the Most High Goddess, you do perform sex rituals in the church. Can you believe that? Now is that true? Do you participate in sex rituals in your so-called church?
There are sex rituals, but it's generally the priestesses that perform the sexual rituals, yes.
Your high priestesses perform sex rituals. Now, is it true that in order to join your church, you must give a donation to the church, and then you must have sexual relations with Sabrina, the Most High Goddess?
No, that's not true, Wally.
Isn't that true?
No. First of all, Sabrina is the high priestess. She is not the high goddess. Yeah. And secondly, an individual is not required to give a donation. Many people do, but it is not a requirement.
But it is a requirement to join the church to have sexual relations with the high priestess, Sabrina.
Well, not necessarily. They could have. They could go through the sexual rituals with other priestesses, but
they have to go through the sexual priestess
yes.
with at least one of your priestesses,
yes,
right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and then, of course, after they have sex with one of your priestesses, they may, if they want to, give you some money. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's right.
I read in the paper that the average donation from a member of your church is $100 when they have sex with one of the high priestesses. Is that correct?
That's what you read in the paper, but that is not correct.
Well, what is the average donation?
We've never made an average.
Well, what is the average?
I don't know.
It's
you would have
a very individual thing.
Let me ask Sabrina here. You have, I understand, had sex. Hold it. You've had sexual relations with quite a few men. How many men have you had sex with at your Church of the Most High Goddess?
Well, with actual vaginal intercourse, about 2,500.
2,500!
Try for 2,600.
Wait, did you say 2,500 men? In how long a time have you had sex with 2,500 men?
About 5 years.
Over 5 years, 2,500 men. Now I say, first of all, I say you can call it anything you want. I call it prostitution. Now, you know, you call yourself the Church of the Most High Goddess. You're located in where? In Los Angeles?
In Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles. Okay. Now, I say because of what you're doing, because you're calling yourself the Church of the Most High Goddess, I say you are a disgrace to other bona fide, good, honest churches. You're a disgrace to religion, and you're a disgrace to God Almighty. How do you answer that?
Well,
Larry?
I'm sorry, Pope Wally. I didn't.
Oh, yes. Don't get smart with me.
All right. For all of the booers out there in the audience who know about religion, our religion existed 3,000 years before Christianity. You see, the problem with the audience is that they have, the problem with this audience is that you have no problem with the substance abuse here. They're all style and no substance. They have an intellect. They have a sophomoric intellect dealing with somewhere around freshman high school level.
Larry, we have no problem with the audience. What we do have a problem with is two sicko guests right here.
A person is only a sicko guest, Wally. A sicko guest is only one who happens to know more about the history of religion than you do.
Well, you, Larry...
Will.
You will. You, I understand, have been charged... Hold it. You have been charged by the city of Los Angeles, right? You've been charged by the city prosecutor with one count of running a house of prostitution. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that's true. And you also have to understand that the judge in this case has looked at it and said, we have a perfect defense in this, but it's a question for the jury to decide.
Well, what is your perfect defense?
That it is a religion. The police are saying it isn't a religion. We're saying that it is. In other words, the state or the city has established its own religion in contravention of the Constitution. You see, people like the city and the prosecutors and those who believe them don't really believe in the Constitution. When people get off on technicalities, that technicality is generally the First Amendment.
Well, let me say this. What you're doing here, Will and Sabrina, you're just running a real great cover. Isn't that right? You discovered a great dodge. What did you do? You said, hey, I know what we'll do. We can make a little money, and we can sell sex. Let's form a church. Let's charge people. If they come in, they can give a donation and have sex with the high priestesses. You're getting away with murder, but I hope you don't get away with it much longer. It's just a dodge.
Well, Wally, that would be true, but that would also, if we were to take your program and say you had no educational background, you just decided to go on and start talking.
Hey, pal.
No.
Wait a minute.
Hold it, Wally.
This
is not a put down. Let me finish. Let me.
I've been in this thing 35 years doing what I'm doing.
Right. And Wally. They do sound like a bunch of apes out there, but Wally...
Well, you look like one!
Well, Wally, what I'm saying is this. For anybody... No, really, listen. For anybody to say that you just came out and have no background to this would be as valid as what you're saying about our religion.
What background do you have to open a church, Reverend?
Sabrina, he's a pimp.
What background do you have to...
Good.
What is your background? By the way, speaking of backgrounds, I know what's... Wait a minute. I know what Sabrina's background is. And I want to ask ask you this. Hold on, gang.
Yes.
I want to ask this because I know I've read up on you, Sabrina. Do you know what the high priestess's background is?
What?
She has been the star of a porno movie.
Let me ask you a question on that.
Wait, let Sabrina talk for herself.
Was that before or after she got her master's degree in chemistry? Your audience doesn't know what a master's degree is.
Hey, do you mind if I talk
At Portland
Yes.
State University.
Hey, Will.
Where did you get your master's?
Hey, hold on.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that was from Bader University?
Hey, Will, I'm talking to Sabrina. Do you
Yes,
mind
my
if Sabrina
background-
answers for herself? I'm talking to Sabrina, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Now,
My
Sabrina,
background
Would you prefer
is...
me to leave, Wally?
I
I'm talking to Welcome back, Wally George here with the Hot Seat Show, and we have with us Will Tracey, who is the director, the high priest, and founder of the Church of the Most High Goddess here in Los Angeles, and Sabrina, who is the high priestess of the Church of the Most High Goddess. When we left, I was asking Sabrina about your background, and you are the high priestess. You have appeared in pornographic films, have you not?
No. I have done one erotic film. I do not consider
Was it X-rated?
It was X-rated, but
Isn't that pornography?
I don't think so. That
Why
isn't-
was it
there are
X-rated?
plenty of
Because it
X-rated.
never got a rating.
Can I ask you, Will, what gave you the inclination to form this Church of the Most High Goddess? Why did you start this whole thing going?
It wasn't really my idea. The religion has been around for centuries, as I had stated. This is the oldest religion in the world. The priesthood fell upon me, and the time was right to start the religion, so we started it.
Well, you know, you have said in the paper, which I read, which once again, I don't know if you did or not, but I understand that you say that these charges being brought about against your church are a conspiracy. Have you said that?
Yes, that's right.
Well, what kind of conspiracy is it?
Whenever the police get together and decide what a religion is and what a religion is not, and they talk about it and they decide what they're going to do with religion, that's a conspiracy.
But how can you possibly, in your wildest imagination, consider what you're running to be a church? Let's think about it, folks, across America. Think of this. What they have here is a house, right? That's where you run this Church of the Most High Goddess. Men, mainly men, are members. Some 2,000, I understand, members you have. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
About 2,000 members. Now think about this. They come to the Church of the Most High Goddess. They have sex with the high priestesses. With the priestesses, some with Sabrina. Then, if they care to, they make a donation of money to the church. Now, does that sound like a church to you? No! And now, how can you, in your wildest imagination, call this church? This is an affront to Christianity, certainly, and to every other form of religion.
Well, Wally, it's only an affront to religion if you happen to be a Christian and you have particular values and views. Where there is an opposing value and an opposing view, it is not an affront.
Do you believe in God?
Yes, we believe in God.
Oh. Do you believe that God in heaven, if it's the same God that I hope do you believe God in heaven, who created this entire universe, looks upon the sick things you are doing and do you think God approves of this?
Wally, I'll answer that question if you'll answer me this one question. Is the God of the Jews also the same God of the Christians?
There is one God that created the entire universe. It is a God of goodness and morality and love, and God that we all worship certainly does not put up with this kind of stuff, does he?
Wally, was that God Jesus Christ?
Of course, if you're a Christian, you believe Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior. If you're a Jew, you certainly do believe in God Almighty.
But not Jesus Christ.
Well, what difference does it make?
Because if it isn't Jesus Christ, it's a different God. And if it's a different God, how can you love?
There is one God that we all worship.
Thank you, Wally. You just stated my statement for you.
But you can't worship God and be in the kind of lewd business you're in, can he? No!
Wally, how were you created?
By God. How were you created?
Through the sexual union of my mother and father. I'm glad to know that you were created without a mother and father and without sex. This lewd thing, Wally, this horrible thing that is anti-God, he put on this earth for you to be born and for your children to be born. Wally, it's too lewd, it's too ridiculous. God would never have given something like that.
You are so ridiculous. The kind of sex God is talking about, the kind of sex that any moral people believe in, is the kind of sex that is performed between two people who love each other, who are married to each other. It is an act of love and commitment. It is not an act of animalism like you're doing in your house, wherever it is. I say,
you mean go ahead.
Our rituals are that of purification, and it's a supreme act of love for a priestess to take upon herself the transgressions of men.
Write to me, and I'd love to get your mail. I read every single letter. If you want a free autographed picture, personally autographed to you, I'll be glad to mail one out to you. And also, here's our new magazine, the new issue of Victory Magazine. Here it is. If you'd like a free sample copy of Victory Magazine. This is my magazine, 32 pages of conservative hot stuff. Write to me and I'll mail you a free sample copy of Victory Magazine. My address, Wally George, P.O. Box 56 TV, Anaheim, California, 92803. That's Wally George, P.O. Box 56 TV, Anaheim, California, 92803. Okay, now we're going to get to our, oh no, hold on. Also, almost forgot the ticket plug. If you want to come down here for a taping of Hot Seat, we tape this show every Wednesday evening about 6 o'clock. If you're in the Southern California area and you'd like to come down some Wednesday evening, we tape it on Wednesday and show it back on Saturday night. Call the numbers on your screen any day, Monday through Friday during business hours, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Give the operator your name and telephone number and tell them how many tickets you want. The tickets are free, and we'll invite you to come down for a taping of Hot Seat. Call Monday through Friday during business hours. In the 213 area code, it's 464-6111. 464-6111. And then, of course, get ready for the big one, gang. In the 714 area code, it's 999. 5,000! 999. 5,000! 999. 5,000! 999. 5,000! One more time, 999. 5,000! Okay, right on. Here we go. Okay. Now we have as our next victim on the hot seat. He was on my radio show a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't believe it. He's a spokesperson, or he's a representative believer in the Libertarian Party, Craig McIlvaney. Now you people, you people in the Libertarian Party are absolutely unbelievable. First of all, you believe in the legalization of all drugs. Come on.
Wally, the problem with the situation right now is that drugs are illegal, yet we still have addicts, and we still have the gangs trying to sell the drugs and murdering other people over control of the drug market.
So you people in the Libertarian Party would just legalize it so we could just hop down to the corner drugstore and say, hey,
exactly, yes.
Hey, give me a pack of marijuana and give me a whole bunch of that cocaine. Oh yeah, and I'll take a whole bunch of heroin. No, wait.
That puts an end to laced marijuana, bad trips, things like that.
I have news for you. Don't you understand? If you make something easier to get, we're going to have more people in the drugs, aren't we? Yeah!
All the people who would be addicted are already addicted. Drugs are easy to get, and anybody...
Don't you realize that there are a lot of idiots out there? The only reason they're not on drugs right now is they're afraid to go out and make a buy. They're afraid they might get arrested because it is illegal. If you nitwits get your way and legalize drugs, what's going to happen? We have it available at all the stores. We're going to have a lot of kids. We're going to have a lot of people who are susceptible are going to come down, are going to buy drugs and become addicted because it is legal. We shouldn't make it easier to get drugs in America. We should make it harder to get drugs, right?
I agree that they're dangerous, but for people who really want to use drugs, it doesn't hurt anybody else, so why prevent them from buying the drugs?
Well, you also want to legalize prostitution. Why don't you go and join the Church of the Most High Goddess?
Well, I missed the interview, but they seem like nice people.
Well, they believe in that too. You know, I mean, they don't believe in prostitution, but they have sex in their church. So you're as ludicrous as them. Why would your organization think it's good to legalize prostitution?
What's wrong with a man who's desperate seeing a prostitute?
And you certainly are desperate. I'll be right back. We're back, Wally George, here with Craig McIlvaney, who is a defender of the Libertarian Party. Now, here are some of the other unbelievable things that your party believes in. You believe children should have the right to buy and sell property. Come on. And also should have the right to drink alcohol and refrain from going to school if they choose. Now, do you really believe that?
Yes, I do. I believe all three of those. And about the buying and selling of property, if a child is knowledgeable enough to obtain property, why not let him buy it and sell it? As for the schools, I don't think schools should be mandatory. They should be deregulated. All schools should be private.
And they should be able to have booze.
Yeah, in Brazil and other countries, children are allowed to purchase and drink booze, and it doesn't hurt the economy at all, and the children there's no problems in those countries.
Listen to this guy. Can you imagine what he stands for? Legalize drugs. Let kids drink booze. It's not just him. This is the whole Libertarian Party. That's what now you know what?
Vote Libertarian.
You know what else? You know what else they want to do? They want to abolish the minimum wage. Oh. Why do you want to abolish the minimum wage?
Well, Wally, I can see why that would be a problem with your audience, but if we abolish the minimum wage, that would make prices in the economy go so lower, you would be able to go and have a nice dinner for $3 or $4 instead of 10 like you're paying right now.
Yeah, and it would also mean, that the people could hire anybody they want and pay them 75 cents or $1 an hour.
They could, but nobody smart enough is willing to take that.
There are a lot of people who would take it and would stop people from getting the jobs they should have.
Unqualified people deserve to be able to have jobs at 75 cents an hour if they're not qualified to be paid anything.
You would also abolish the Internal Revenue Service and have no taxes in America.
The IRS is America's biggest thief.
Oh, America's biggest thief is the IRS. Are you paying your income tax?
Unfortunately, because it's the law, I am, but I would rather not.
Okay, you also would abolish, the Libertarian Party would abolish the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, which would mean that anybody could go on television or radio and say anything they want without any censorship. That's wrong, isn't it? I mean, there's no way that anybody should have the right to get on the air and say any four-letter word they want to.
There's no way someone would be able to survive on the air if people didn't want it. The broadcasting industry should be able to regulate it themselves. The FCC has no right to interfere with.
Libertarian Party also calling for cutting back on the military and bringing the troops home from overseas, right?
Right. From overseas, we're just invading other people's privacy. Other countries have their own rights just like America has its own right. We should stay away, we should stay neutral, just like Switzerland has, and they've been successful at it. We can be successful at it.
Sure, let's just be isolationists and turn the whole free world over to the Soviet Union, right?
The Soviet Union.
You know what you're standing for? You are standing for anarchy. I say you're all a bunch of lunatics, and you're out of here.